Shavua Tov to all of you. I want to, please, if you let me, I want to thank Hashem Yitbarach for the great privilege to be here tonight. I want, in parentheses, to ask you please to forgive me. My language is not professional, probably, but I will try to do my best. I want to thank also all of you for coming. I want to thank, especially thanks to Torah Anytime for the great work that they are doing, for the care for many other Jews who are in America. And I really, with my deep part of my heart, bless this project, Torah Anytime, that it should be Matzliach, bringing more Kedusha to the world. And for the one who support this project, you should have a special Siyata D'Shemaya, and all of us will reach goals, purpose, private goals, and the main goal is to bring the Mashiach soon, Bezot Hashem. Maybe I can say in big words, very interesting concept. Don't forget this concept. The essence of impurity, sadness. One of the words, one of the great averot is to be sad. Why? Because equal is going to be considered as a avodah zarah, and not because we are bad, not because we purposely wanted to be upset. It's simply because subconscious we're saying something. It's not an idiom when you pronounce words. When we behave, we're also speaking. And when a person is sad, subconscious, he doesn't know maybe, of course, but subconscious, he's trying to say, I am God and I'm supposed to solve the problem. And we forgot that this was not the purpose of the nisayon, of the test. The purpose of the test was for us to comprehend that God is expecting from us only one thing. Yes, remind yourself that in that darkness is for you an opportunity to illuminate. How? Saying, you know, Hashem, true, I don't know how to go out from this problem. What you want from me is not to be upset. I am happy, Hashem. Not for whatever problem, even though you think you provoke the situation, don't feel bad. The Torah is teaching us, Hashem inna leyado. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, many times, can bring to a person into a situation, and he didn't plan that. And the reason why, because Hashem knows that he has to pass a specific test. So don't forget. For us, is to remind, oh Hashem, you want me to contact myself with you? It's okay? Okay. Okay, this is the beginning of the lecture in Mir Hashem. We will try to describe the problems of this goal, how come people aren't sometimes happy, or why this can be difficult for people to reach the goal, to be happy constantly. There are many reasons, mainly because we are different. What it means we are different? We simply, when we talk about any idea, because we are different, we comprehend, we understand any idea in a different way. For example, the concept of to be happy. I remember it was about half a year ago, it was in Borough Park. I met somebody. And I was trying to talk to him to make him maybe more happy. And I was mentioning a few words, and I remember he was so upset. I didn't know why. And I figured out then later that the reason was because the concept that I pronounced, that I mentioned, in his conscience or subconscious, he did wrong connotation. I mentioned, I don't know what, because of the, I cannot tell you what was the idea. It's very simple. One word regular word. But in his mind, he had a bad relation with this idea, and I opened in his mind a negative horizon, and he was upset, and he didn't know. So I found out long ago that the problem in any lecture, in any speech, in any class, is that we are different, we understand differently things, and with B'ezrat Hashem tonight, we would like to solve a few problems, which is one of the problems. Secondly, many people think that concept, for example, to be happy, this energy, it is a motor for people. Or to love. People say, I love you now, my motor is working. A few years after, the man said, or the woman said, you know what? I cannot force myself. I simply don't love you, God forbid it. So why this happened? Because they think the love, I can love you now because my motor is working. But it's wrong, Achai B'Re'ai. Love must be a purpose in life. It's not a motor. It's not something that you have it. You can also have it, of course, naturally. But if you put it as a purpose, so then that means even though you don't love somebody, you can love him. The same happy, simcha, happiness. To be happy, if you think that it's something that comes from you, so today I'm happy. Tomorrow, if the motor doesn't work, so I'm not going to be happy. And we are trying to say, the first problem is that don't think this is a motor. You can put it as a purpose. No, Mike. Okay, so tell me. I was holding it. No problem. So, we are saying that if we change our way of perceiving reality, that it will become a purpose to love or to be happy, then, first of all, you will have more power to reach the goal. Another problem, we are dealing with an idea. As I usually say, ideas are metaphysic. It's a concept. But if there is no specific frame for this idea, you will never reach the goal. Any idea, the same problem. So we have to find out how you can frame this idea to be happy. And the same concept, the same idea will be to frame any other idea. To love. You can start loving somebody, and in the middle of the month, after being together with a person, you go to the other extreme, to the opposite of to love, which is? Why? Because there is no frame. I forgot to ask from this beautiful Rabbi Shimon, my friend, about bringing a blackboard. In order to write for you the ideas, will be much easier for you to understand my bad Spanish. But I hope I am doing a good work, and you be mercy on me and try to figure out what I am saying, okay?
You don't have to apologize.
It's okay?
You don't have to.
But, okay, so I can continue. So we are saying, the problem is, we are dealing with always these concepts. We understand that because we do have darkness, we can understand what light is it. Nigudim, the opposite. We cannot understand what is to love without having his opposite, which is hatred, no? But, okay, let's imagine that I do have a blackboard and I wrote over here the concept of to love and the opposite. So now this is 100% love, this is 100% the opposite. We are humans. Sometimes you love, but less love. So you move away from here, you start to become less love. You continue becoming less love, but there is going to be one point which will divide this concept from this concept. All the concepts which are the negative, dark and light, good or bad, happiness and the opposite, okay? There are two concepts. Again, I love less, I continue being in this territory. Less love, but I still love. Less love, but I still love. But it's going to come into a point where from here, you are already in the opposite of love. of course, you are not 100% in the negative, but you start to be in the territory of the opposites. So how we can frame concepts? What is your suggestion in order to frame a metaphysic concept? What can be the way to have metaphysic ideas holding forever? No, guess? It is important what I am saying. It is necessary to frame ideas. You know, the people who are married, they live with this problem. In the beginning of the month, they love each other. And further, and then sometimes, God forbid, I don't want to say what is, but you figure out what can happen. Why? Because of this problem, technical problem. Love and the opposite. By the way, I deal in a married life, and also as a advisor in a married life. And in Israel, once somebody came to me, and she said, "I hate my husband." I said, "Oh, you are okay. You're still okay." How come? I said to her, "You know what the problem will be if you come over to me and you say, you know what, I don't care about my husband anymore. That is a problem." Why to say, God forbid, to dislike her husband still in a normal problem is because of the same idea, that love is here and the opposite is here. So we are always in this territory. It's bad. You don't have to go into this idea. I don't want to mention the negative, okay? So now what we're looking for is how we can frame these two ideas in order to separate them. And then I can come less love, but I can continue loving. But never going to the other. And the same, the happiness, the simcha. So any guess, any idea what can be the frame? How we can frame ideas? Okay, there is only one way. And Baruch Hashem, we must be very happy that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is giving us tools in order to live correct. Torah comes from the idea of ora'ah, to illuminate your comprehension with the only absolute information in order to live correct, in order to be able to reach the goal. When ideas will be clear by everybody, then we can have the same purpose in life. Even though we are from people, we can be in the same problem. We understand the way we want to understand concepts, and so even though the concept was absolute, when it comes to us, because we are different and because we have our own, how you say, cheshbonot? How you say cheshbonot?
Our calculations.
Doesn't sound good. Calculations. Or let's say our own, okay, whatever, it never sounds much better. Anyway, because we do have our own cheshbonot in our life, and because we have defects which we take in consideration in order to decide what we can introduce into our life, therefore things are relative towards us. So I'm saying we can solve any problem in life. How we can become happy, how we can increase happiness. First, we have to understand what is simcha means. Secondly, how we can frame this concept. Third, where we are, each of all of us, in order to create like a sulam, like a ladder, like a way, like a road, in order to reach the goal. Because the other problem will be, this is a general problem. A person wants to reach the goal. He is here. The purpose is here. Why he cannot reach the goal? Let's say in this case, to be happy. Sometimes because he doesn't know who is he, as we always mentioned before. And let's say the person find out who he is really in order to bring himself to the purpose. The other problem will be if the purpose is clear, because again, if it's not clear the purpose, which is a metaphysical idea, which is to be happy, and what is it about? And the other problem is, what will be the way to reach the goal? What will be the faster way? Because in between you and the purpose, you know how many obstacles we say?
Obstacles.
Obstáculos in Spanish. You know, you study Spanish with me. Obstáculos. Barriers. Barreras. In Spanish the same. So, okay, so let's say today what we can talk about, this problem. So to speak about who we are in order to reach the goal is clear, because I spoke also a few times over here about this concept. If it was, I'm not purposely here, you know what, I confused myself. I was in a different place also, and I spoke about who we are. But let's talk today about how to frame the concept. Because you see, there are many details in the same problem that we cannot deal with all of them. It is going to be very complicated. So the idea today will be how we can frame this concept. First, we understand that it doesn't have to be a motor in your life. This can be a purpose in your life. And then even though you don't feel I love, or even though you feel I am not happy, so don't expect your motor being work forever. This is not a motor. This is a purpose. Then you can you can navigate other powers which are in us in order to produce, in order to create happiness. Okay. Let's say, because I mentioned what I said right now to all of us, we have another problem that Baruch Hashem I want to bring it to draw right now. The problem is going to be that we have energy. And we must be very thanks to Hashem Yitbarach that we have the desire of being in this world. Many marachot, many systems we do have in our body which are function Baruch Hashem automatically without worry. And all this energy which is in us can permit to a person to be free from being worried about taking care of his health in order to be happy. A result of all this investment from HaKadosh Baruch Hu into your body, if you want to thanks, we must be happy. It is a basic idea. To thanks Hashem, how? Don't be sad. There is no reason to be sad. God forbid. Okay, it's easy for me to talk because probably I have everything. So therefore I just want you forgive me because we are different and we are going through many different things in life. And you can question myself, you can say, you talk very good because you have everything probably. But if you will be in my case, so and so and so. But it's not true. Because you understand that I also went, and everybody goes through many difficulties in life. The question is, which tools you do have in the same moment when you are going to a difficulty, what kind of tools you are using in order to develop reality and to explain why this happened to you and to solve the problem. But in general, without understanding, I beg you, please, we must try to be happy. Now, there are two words, write it in Hebrew, and if you have any way where to write, if not, use my imaginary blackboard. The word of besimcha, which is to be happy, besimcha, in Hebrew are the same letters of machshava. Under besimcha, you can write machshava, and you will see there are the same letters. That means what? God says to us, I am going to bring you into situations, into moments that even you playing something else and it didn't work out. You are planning things, and in the end, God is going to decide what you have to go through because He knows many other things that you don't know. So when you went through any situation, Hashem is telling us, use correct tools. I beg you, be happy, besimcha. Why? Because you will never be in a situation without HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving you the solution. Always, any situation you will go through, Hashem is also sending you the solution. But the same letters of machshava, which is tov, yeah? Torth? Whatever, say it. Machshavot, you know what? Don't make today. Machshavot, zechi baruch, zechi kal. Also, the same letters which are in this concept are also in the other concept of besimcha. And Hashem is telling us, listen, please, I beg you, wherever, whatever you're going through, yes, be happy. This is going to be the faster way to solve the problem. Did you hear? If you want to solve the problem, Hashem says the faster way to solve it, you must be happy. Why? Because are the same letters of your conduct that I will also send you the solution for the problem, and then Besat Hashem will be much easier to solve any problem. Okay, this is a general idea. So we are saying, what can be the idea, the way to frame any concept? So Hashem Yitbarach is teaching us in His Torah, Ma Hashem Elokecha shoel me'imach ki'im le'yira. Hashem is asking from us, very interesting concept. Before He asks us to love Him, He is asking us to le'ira. I don't want to translate this concept into English because it's not correct 100% to say fear of God. Yeah? You know, associations. Again, God forbid, if a child, he was young and something happened in his life, somebody hate him very, very, very bad. So, and they say, fear. So when he comes to my lecture, if I say to him fear of God, he's not going to like my idea. Why? Because he correlates my idea with his previous idea in his subconscious, and he's going to be upset. And therefore, because it's also incorrect to say ira, yira. But anyway, meantime, in order to little bit understand, Hashem said to us, I am asking from you, Ma Hashem Elokecha shoel me'imach. What is what Hashem is asking from all of us? Ki'im le'ira. I want you to fear God. Again, it's not correct translation. And then further, Hashem is asking to love Him. And why? Because what is ira? What we wrongly translate to fear. Hashem says, ira. Thank you. You know what? יבדו חמים. שתזכה לשרת את האישה בבית, לשטוף את הבית. שפונג'ה, לשטוף כלים בעזרת השם. נשמתו מבין. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. חשבתי זה water. It's okay. So, what did I say now? No, what did I say now?
You said the bracha the last time.
You're right. Before the bracha?
Wrong defined as fear.
So I say, why Kadosh Baruch Hu is asking from us to leira, to fear. Again, it's not correct to say in English, but whatever. Because Hashem said to us, ira mileshon come from the idea of reya, which is to comprehend, to understand. Because when it comes to see, the concept of to see is to comprehend. I will explain this idea first. Okay, before we go further, which is a basic and important idea. I am telling you, I love you. Please try to force yourself to understand my Spanish. Because this idea will give you life, will give you peace. This idea can bring, you know what? We have children. And I don't want to criticize, but we have sometimes problems with the children because they have no frame. They have no ira. Kids don't have respect sometimes because we extra love them. And love without control, you know what is the result of love without control. You let the child do what he wants, and then they are, in the end, oy vey, I don't want to continue saying. So that please, Hashem is giving us a tool, great tool, even in the married life, even in between friends, even in between a rabbi. The respect or the disrespect come from this idea, because this idea isn't clear by people, and therefore, let me say it, Immerse Hashem, correct. So again, reya, ira, the fear, what we translate fear, come from the idea of reya, to see. But now, how come to see means comprehension? Once it was a man who said to me, no, you know, I see with my eyes. I said to him, no, you see through your eyes. You don't see with your eyes, you see through your eyes. But what permits your eyes see better is knowledge. And I give an example. Write a very popular word in Hebrew. Bereshit, the first word in the Torah. Bereshit. Are you familiar with this word? You saw it before in your life? Of course, yeah. Yes. So we write Bereshit. Let's say Bet, Resh, Bet, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yutaf. Okay? Bet, Resh, Aleph. What it was? No? Okay. So now if you cover the Bet, and the end, the Yutaf, it says in the middle, Rosh. Rosh. Okay? And if you cover the middle word, which is Rosh, and the extreme will say Bait. Okay? Okay. So I ask people who blame, they say, no, I see with my eyes. I say, you don't see with your eyes, and I prove you now. So I ask people, you say you see with your eyes. Let's ask you something. Bereshit, this word, you saw it previously. Tell me true. Did you saw that in Bereshit it says Bait Rosh, yes or not? Honestly, did you saw it says Bait Rosh in this word Bereshit, yes or not? So how come you saw and you didn't saw? If you say I see with my eyes, so how come you didn't saw this word? Because you don't see with your eyes, you see through your eyes, but what can amplify the way of seeing more and more things in the same reality which is in front of your eyes will be the study, the knowledge, to learn. As much as you learn, you will see different. You will see deeper. You will see more. Therefore, when you come to a tzaddik, he sees everything in you. And you think he's focus pocus? No. He study other Torah, other secrets which are in life. The tzaddik can describe anything we do in our life because everything is in our face, or in our hands, or in everything. So people who study, they see other things. Therefore, he's not focus pocus. Simply he has completely different view of reality. So Hashem is telling us, why I didn't ask you to love me first? Because this concept of to love, you must have a frame. You can never love also somebody that you don't see. And in order to love God, which includes everything, you must study, you must comprehend. Therefore I ask you first, leira, to fear, which is lirot, which is to see, which is to study, and then you can increase the ability to value or to appreciate the love towards somebody. In other words, I want to say, if you want to increase the happiness, the simcha, will be the same way. You first have to admire, you have to appreciate what you are having, and then you can be more happy because already you appreciate what you're having. An example. Let's say somebody owes to somebody $1 million, and he has already 2 years, the guy is asking for the money, and every day his friend, unfortunately, he doesn't have the money, but he's always saying, tomorrow, next month, you are nice, you are kind. 2 years already over. Once the last time you said you called him, sorry, please, 2 years. That's it, my money. He says, tomorrow I have it, tomorrow morning. But he's already, enough. The next morning, the money didn't come. He's going to be happy or upset?
Upset.
I guess upset. I'm sorry, I went too much. 2 million is too much money. No, $100,000 too much. The example doesn't. $100,000. Anyway, $100,000 is a great money. So in the morning he called his friend. What is my money? He says, I'm sorry, whatever. Again. So we ask. He probably will be happy or upset. Upset. Usually, normally. Another another movie, another situation. If one day in the morning he wants to do zokef kefufim, he's sleeping, he wants to stand up in order to walk and to start to wash his hands, to do semodani lefanecha, he simply cannot move. And zokef kefufim, and then the doctor come over and say, you must do few operations because we find you complications and difficulties, and God forbid him, costs much more than $100,000, all this process and all these operations, and for having health and life, will cost him another $500,000 maybe. So if this morning he wake up with all this bad news, and in the end he will pay all this money, and he give away all his money, he will be happy? but he will be healthy. You know? So he spent $500,000 for being healthy and say, oh, Hashem, thanks for the health. So Hashem is asking, you see, when you have the money, when you have the health, and because in the morning you didn't receive your money, why you are upset? Why you didn't say thanks for being health? There is no reason. We have no reason, and we are not allowed to be upset. Nobody. Now again, please forgive me. I am saying.
He doesn't get the money back, he gets sick again, you know.
No, so therefore we said before, this is Avodah Zarah. Therefore, to be upset equal to Avodah Zarah. Why? Because people, we are unfortunately disbalanced. We don't have balance in life. And you know, I don't want to say where, but probably you also hear these ideas. Because to have insurance cover or he needs money, he also sometimes think, you know what, I will throw myself into another to chas v'shalom and to receive the money. I said, people are really, I don't know. So health is not important. Money became more important, God forbidden. Shem Rachem. So Avodah Zarah, Shem Rachem.
Money itself is Avodah Zarah.
זה מה שאני אומר, now it became Avodah Zarah. If a person is able to say, I give up my health, and yes, I get from insurance a few thousand, I don't know how much it's going to get for, but even to think about this idea, you know, you must be, I don't know, I don't want to say what. Call him the way you want. Anyway, so the disbalance, why? Because Baruch Hashem, we are too busy in life making we want support, we want parnasah, and probably sometimes we don't find a way to make parnasah, and we find funny ways to make the money. Shem Rachem. Okay, so we return to the idea. So Hashem says to us, listen. We said before the problem was that we do have the concept to be happy. So how come we cannot be constantly happy? Sometimes, God forbid, if I don't think in your case, the way you look to me, I think all of us, you don't need my lecture because you look to me like you are always happy. But for your neighbor, for your neighbor. So how we can frame this concept to always constantly be happy and not to go against to the negative, to the opposite idea? As we said before, simcha and sadness, or good or bad, or love and the opposite. And again, we do have to have a frame. And there is a point that over here, very little place where either you go to this side, you completely are in the opposite. Even though you are not 100% in the opposite, but you are already in that territory, and therefore sadness coming into our life. So Hashem says, what you have to do is only one thing. So now write down, it was essentially this idea because the Torah is bringing us in this concept, in this correlation of ira and ahava. So please, again, write in my imaginary blackboard the word of in Hebrew, ira, for the one who are familiar. And even if you are not familiar, write it down and you will see it after. You will understand more deep. Ira is Yud, Resh, Aleph, Hey. Under, in this ira, write ahava. Aleph, Hey, Bet, Hey. Okay? You have 4 letters over here, 4 letters over here. You put a line, imagination line, and from top to the bottom, and then you cut 2 letters here, 2 letters there, 2 letters here, 2 letters there. So it says Yud Resh on top, and there says Aleph Hey, which in then says Ira. You see it? Yud Resh, Aleph Hey Shel Ahava, it says Ira. The second part of Ira was Yud Resh, Aleph Hey. So we do have Aleph Hey, and under Aleph Hey you have Bet Hey, which is Ahava. It's a straight correlation in between Ira and Ahava. So is teaching us a secret. God is telling us, you can never say, I love somebody without having the 50% of them. Because, by the way, I forgot to tell you, that this will come out to equal to 50%. It will be 50% and 50% saying. You can never say, I love somebody 100% without having 50% of the of the preservative, in order to preserve the love. Again, love is metaphysical concept. It's idea. Okay? How we can preserve, how we can frame. The preservative will be what? God says, will be ira. Ira means to fear, the fear or to understand. So, in order to frame the concept, for example, to love, you must frame it how? With the concept of ira, respect, comprehension. How? Example. And we say, you cannot say, I love somebody 100% without having fear of the same person, the same rabbi, the same God, the same husband, the same wife, the same children, the same friends, the same anybody. You can never say, I love somebody without having the 50% of the preservative, which is the irat kavod, the idea of understanding who is next to you. So when you increase the comprehension, when you value a person, you admire him, so then you can continue, keep the love towards him. So we say examples now. Let's say a man walks, and okay, he really loves his wife, okay? He just got married, and his wife is a very wonderful woman. He loves his wife. But when we say the concept of temptation, nisayon, test, that means the temptation is more strong than the love toward his wife. Otherwise, it's not going to be a temptation. So any temptation, any nisayon, any test is stronger. The energy is stronger. So what you have to do in order to show that you love your wife, so it's now not for you to use the 50% of the idea of to love your wife. No. Because the temptation is stronger. So what you have to do is to use the other 50% of the preservative idea of ira, of fear, in order to protect the love towards your wife. Because if you try to show to love, if you want to love your wife, then you're not going to make it. Because temptation is stronger. Anyway, by the way, if you have questions for what I am saying, so you can always ask me in the middle, okay? And the same, so because it's difficult for him, he has to protect the love towards his wife. How? We say already, how? Using what? Ira, which means the way you want it. In the beginning could be, if it's a strong temptation, so then you have to be, afraid of your wife. Because of course, if she walks next to you, and God forbid, and a man watch, like a vision, So minimum from his wife, סתירה אחת. איך אומרים סתירה אחת? איך? Minimum, with discount, Come on, you're not מתבייש. Come on. Now, woman's, Chazal says, Gemara says, מי האישה כשרה העושה את רצון בעלה. So the same way it's difficult for a man not to watch temptations, even though he really loves his wife. It has nothing to do with loving his wife, okay? It has to do with the temptation, with the test. The test is more stronger. And for him, he has to use the ira, the respect, the fear toward his wife. And a woman, the Gemara says, which is the kosher woman? The one who does the desire of her husband. So I was in Bnei Brak once, and a lady said to me, what? כל השטויות שבעלי מצווה, אני חייבת לעשות. All the stupid things that my husband got forbidden. He said to me, I have to do it. So I said to her, listen, if it's going against Torah, so it's something else. But if it's not out of the area of the Torah, so therefore God is not expecting from you to love to you towards your husband. No. Now for you the same way the husband was difficult for him, or the same for you. Now if you really want to show that you love your husband, you don't have to use the love, you have to use the other 50% of the preservative, which is the concept of, respecting your husband. If you are not going to be able to respect, so fear, you are afraid of him, you must have this if you want to love 100% somebody. Again, because the temptation is always strong. And the same the kids. Children's without this concept. I don't wish, Be'ezrat Hashem, that not one child in Klal Israel wouldn't have this beautiful concept. Ira. If this Chomer HaMeshamer, if this preservative, you don't introduce automatically, spontaneously in the children's, you know what a young boy can do, and he's not afraid. And the problem and the reason was because he born without this preservative. So I was once in Israel, Dimona, South Israel, and a lady, from lady, asked me, "A rabbi, what we can do in order for the child to fear his father?" And I spontaneously said to her, "B'siyata d'shemaya, when his father will start to fear God, the child will fear him. Midah keneged midah." And even though you can tell me, "Oh, but it's a big rabbi," we also have rabbis, God forbid, who also sometimes children are going away from the derech, from the road of Torah. So what you can say that he's a good rabbi, his child is also, God forbidden, disrespecting him. So Hashem is expecting from this rabbi probably a more deeper level of fear of God. The children will do to us what is Hashem is asking from us. So if you want to increase the respect in your children, we must increase this preservative on us. How? In between who and who? In between husband and woman. As much as you will increase this preservative, we will have it in our life. Okay. Over here we can give so many cases. We do have another very serious problem, very interesting problem. Two concepts: Gan Eden, Gehinom, paradise, and the opposite. Whatever, better to say the opposite. The other sounds sometimes, again, for people, sometimes negative things, are, "Oh, you scare me." So I say paradise and the opposite. But what is paradise in Hebrew? Gan Eden. What is the other in Hebrew? Is Gehinom. The concept in Hebrew, Gehinom, is very interesting. Simply, Achai Bereai, what Gehinom is? Disproportion. What disproportion means? No balance. Caricatura. You know what caricatura is? The guy who is drawing a picture, he's going to do what? One thing. He's going to put any member of the same body in disproportion, and then this will become caricatura. What is Gehinom? Chai Bereai? To take otzmot. How you say? Otzmot? איך?
עצמות.
לא עצמות. עוצמות, עוצמה. לא עצמות.
Force.
Like force, in America today, not America, this new generation. For example, new generation. I used to hear music once. So quiet, you enjoy from beautiful music. Today,
Smells loud.
and you ask the children, the generation, and they say to you, "Wow, good." Tough. If you put a slow music to them, wow. No, they're going to sleep right away. You say, "Oh, Tati, you are an old-fashioned man." Tough. This is Gehinom. Power. Disproportion. More. Yeah, crazy, yeah. Okay, so what?
The music of Gehinom,
No, what will happen in the end? In the end, they are going to suffer because if they got used to otzmot, how you say before? Forces. If this is what can provoke in them happiness or enjoyment, one day the body is going to explode because the ears cannot support so much noise. And then he's going to say, "Abba, I cannot hear." Can you put more volume? There is no oznaim. There is nigmar oznaim. So he's going to suffer anyway. So Torah is teaching us Gan Eden. What to do? Gan Eden means adinut. Adinut, soft. Get used to soft. You don't have to enjoy it from noise. You can also enjoy it from what? From simple things. Happiness can start first. Yeah. You can be happy and it pays to start to do exercise. It happened to me, I don't play so good guitar maybe, but sometimes I play guitar and there are people who I don't mind. Really, I don't care if they make noise because I love to play, so I don't care if they make noise. But sometimes I am sorry because if they make noise, that means they don't enjoy what I am doing. Probably they suffer also because I am bad playing maybe. But if this is not the point, if the point is that they don't enjoy slow music or something soft, so I know that, not that I am wrong, it's that they already get used to force, strong. And again, and then who is going to suffer? We're going to bring children like this. You know what is to live with children like this? That only great energies he can tell you, okay, I enjoy it. Oy vey, oy vey. Now I want to give 1 minute, 2 minutes to this beautiful person who is doing mamash great things in this world. And I really want to bless him with all my deep part of my heart, that Hashem should give him extra parnasa b'shefa b'ezrat Hashem. That he by his son can be able to move this how you say, like a mifal, how you say mifal? This factory of the project of having Torah time all over the world, reach every Jew in America, b'ezrat Hashem, in order to see more beautiful Jewish people happy in this world. Believe me. I don't know if I talk okay, but other people are more professional than me, and I'm telling you, it pays to pray. At least if you have no money, do your best. At least pray for this project in order to be succeed. And I give Rashut Adibur to Shimon HaTzadik, B'ezrat Hashem.